idols. Oh, now we're live. We've got two of my idols here on the show. I can't wait to get into it with them. And before we start, though, I'd like to kind of talk about the situation we're in. It's been really challenging for everyone, right? Not just myself, but all of us have been impacted by the scary and rapid surge in the pandemic. And I just want to say that please be safe. If you guys need anyone to chat to or need any kind of support, just reach out to us. And Bianca will be sharing some of the websites where you can check if there's hospital spaces and more COVID information on how to deal with the current situation. Again, Buck won't be joining us. Nahuli siya ni Colonel Bong Nebrija kasi pasaway yun. He's a rule breaker, so he won't be with us again on the show. The last week na violating curfew si Buck violating curfew. Ngayon pasaway sa kalsada. And yeah, we've got some technical difficulties as well because Jolly's computer crashed and I am by myself. This is the first time I'm by myself. Iñaki, Sir Bong, humirit naman kayo habang nagka-countdown.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for having us here, Eva, and hope we could share something that other riders will benefit from.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Sir Iñaki. Okay, we've got 1 minute before we're live. We've got a whole bunch of friends now supporting our show. We've got Otterbox, Pop Socket, Mr. Speedy, use the code Speedy na Rider, Under Armour, Moto Lason Club, syempre Podcast Network Asia, Podmetrics, and our good buddies at Touratech. Thank you so much for your support. We love you. Stay safe. Yon. Are we live?
Yun na.
Yun na. What? Wait, let's wait. All right, we are live. All right. Jolly is having technical difficulties, so he'll try and catch up. Like I said before, Buck, nahuli ni Sir Bong because pasaway talaga yon and hindi nakikinig, hindi sumusunod sa batas. And hopefully he's back next week. But before we start, I'm going to have to do what Jolly does, but he does it way better than I do. I just want to talk about Podmetrics. If you're a podcaster like us at Tunay na Rider, or someone who wants to get into podcasting or an advertiser on a podcast, you can go to podmetrics.co. They've got a lot of features for both content creators and advertisers. Go check out podmetrics.co for more. Podmetrics, the easiest way to monetize your podcast. And I'd also like to thank Speedy na Rider, Bianca. The easiest way for you guys to help us at Tunay na Rider is, I know we're all stuck at home. Use Speedy na Rider, use Mr. Speedy, and plug in the promo code Speedy na Rider, and you get $50 off your first transaction. So yeah, that's the easiest way you can help out Tunay na Rider because we're still spending way more money than we're making. And it looks like it's going to be that way for the next year. Wala pa si Jolly, Bianca. Ako pa rin. All right. So now it's officially my turn. I'd like to welcome Sir Bong Nebrija and Iñaki Jose. Thank you for joining us on the show. Iñaki, you're my idol. I'm a geek, and we'll go into it later. And Sir Bong, I am one of your stalkers. I've been following you pre-COVID. Your videos are inspirational, and what you do in your real life is exactly what I wish I could do. And I was talking to some friends, and they want to volunteer. How can we help out? And yeah, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Iba, for having us.
Thank you for having us.
All right. So again, technical difficulties. Jolly's not in, so let's just hop right in. As usual in Tunay na Rider, it's all about you as a rider, and we'd like to find out, no, how did you get into riding, Sir Bong?
No, yeah. How did I start riding? Well, long before, when in 1991 when we graduated in PMA, we joined the Navy. Alam mo naman, usong-uso yung noon, yung Top Gun. And pero at the time, I call myself Teniente Kamote because life was hard. Magkano lang naman yung namin noon, nung sweldo namin. But may mga classmates ako who really rides, So nandyan si Julie Canla, si Toto Espeleta. They have their own big bikes, I remember Toto has a Yamaha, and Junie has a Honda, parang kung di nagkakamali, parang shadow type. No? Anyway, so we go to Cavite, we go back to Manila riding, and yes, I usually back ride with them. So the passion na, this is nice, parang nakakatuwa, but I married early, and syempre iba yung priorities ko
Iba yung
than their
priorities.
than their priorities, right? So I never really had the chance to buy a motorcycle then, and especially yung wife ko, ayaw niya, so she thinks that was too dangerous.
Pero
So
sir,
yeah.
piloto po kayo eh. In the
Yes.
military. I don't know what's
Yes.
more dangerous. Honestly, diba? You're
Siguro,
flying into
siguro,
the
yeah, true. Siguro ang iniisip ng wife ko noon is that, okay ka lang mag-helicopter pilot, at least may flying pay ka dyan. Sa pagmumotor, wala eh. It's all danger. So maybe that was it. But anyway, well, it all changed when we went to the US. So nung nasa US na kami, nakita ni Mrs. na maluwag ang daan, wala masyadong traffic. He sees a lot of people really riding, especially on weekends, makikita mo. And well, I did not get permission from her that I could really buy a bike. So what nag-insinuate ako, na sabi ko parang gusto ko magmotorsiklo, parang gusto subukan magmotorsiklo dito, something like that. Then little did he know that I was already canvassing na motorsiklo. So one time I went to this motorcycle shop. So I like this. Ano lang 'yon? Mababa lang yung CC, 250cc lang na Honda. So the guy was asking me, "Have you been riding before?" "Oh, yes." So, but little did he know that that will be the first time that I will be buying a motorcycle, and the first time that I will be riding on my own. So nakakatuwa nun. So dumating na yung order ko motor, and sabi ko, can I just use your backyard there, yung parang pinaka-parking lot? Can I use the parking lot? Why? I just need to get the feel of the motorcycle. So, sabi ko ganun. So, he saw me trying it out. Alam na with the experience I had with my friends, my classmates. So, basically, I have a basic knowledge on how to operate it. And ang ano nun, so simula, di ikot-ikot ako sa parking lot. Okay, I think I'm ready to go. What do you mean? I got the feel of the motorcycle. I'm ready to go home. So, put on, naka-helmet na ako. Sabi ko, okay, I'll go home. Nabayaran ko na and all that. So, uwi ako ng bahay. Then, mamaya, bumubusina na ako sa bahay. Then, my wife saw me that I was already riding a motorcycle, and she cannot do anything
Bilis.
about it. She cannot do anything about it anymore. So, but the thing is, in the US, ang hirap kumuha ng lisensya. So, when I tried, I went to DNB and I applied for a motorcycle license. So I passed yung theoretical exam, ano. Okay lang 'yon, kaya natin 'yon. However, yung the driving test na ako, I saw the lollipop. Yung lollipop, parang na-intimidate na ako dun sa lollipop eh. So there's a
Ano yung
lollipop.
lollipop?
It's shaped like a lollipop, right? So pupunta ka, meron
Ah,
kang may demarcation line ka na kailangan nandun ka lang, slow ride, you turn around, then go back to the end, ano? Then may slalom siya. So bibigyan ka ng instruction. So I was just watching. I was at the Department of Motor Vehicles and I was just watching people applying for motorcycle license. And I said, meron nga doon yung mga naka-big bike and you know that these people are really experienced riders and yet they fail. They fail. And there was this guy, an Indian guy, who has a 50cc because they do not require to bring big bikes eh. Walang walang
correct. Oh.
torque limit. Basta motorsiklo.
Pero actually, mas madali kung maliit yung motor.
Correct.
Sa mga
Mas madali.
tight, oo.
Tight, lalo na sa pag-turn, mas madali siya. So ngayon, meron tong Indian guy na nakatambay rin lang doon. And he has a scooter 50cc. Nandun lang. When the big bikers fail, hey buddy, you want to try my 50cc? I think you will pass with this one. So nakakatuwa. And he's earning a lot, Ganun lang ginagawa niya. But
So pinapaupa niya.
Pinapaupa niya. So
Galing.
kasi you're given 3 tries to pass it. So marami doon, yung naka-Harley, naka-big bike, na street bike. Ang ginagawa nila, at on their 3rd try, they rent it out. Tapos yun ang gagamitin nila. So, much easier to control. And
Yun ang entrepreneur.
Sa slalom. So, sabi ko, I think this is not the right way for me. So there you have 2 options, to take the driving test or to take the motorcycle safety course, no, by MSF, conducted by the California Highway Patrol Group. So sabi ko, I think I'll get this. So nag-enroll ako, and then theoretical and the practical, training ka. So that's why I like Super 4 because that was my training bike then, no, yung Honda Super 4. So yun ang gamit ko. And then may final
the Super
exam
4 is
kayo.
an iconic bike. Sobrang iconic yan sa Pinas.
Actually, I traded my Ducati to a Super 4, sa MMDA. So, Ducati yung binigay sa akin nun, but I opted to use the Super 4. So, then yun, may practical exam kayo, may final exam kayo, and pag natapos mo na yung course, the whole course, magre-report ka dun sa instructor, pass or fail lang yun, pass or fail lang. Walang grade. So, when you pass, you will be given a slip, and the slip you will be turning over to DMB, and they will give you a class 1 na lisensya for
So class 1
motorcycles.
parang entry level? Hindi ka pwede
Wala, motorcycle, ano mo na yun?
Ano na yan?
License mo na yan.
Okay.
Yes. So tayo, di ba, may code 1, may code 2, right? For them, it's class So class 1 is for motorcycle. I think class 3 yung pang vehicles So ngayon, pag meron ka na nun, you can drive anywhere. Kung wala ka kasing kung wala kang lisensya, then may certain CC na you could ride pero within the community lang. Parang lumalabas siya na leisure bike lang. So hindi mo siya pwedeng ilabas. But I was using mine to go to work. Kasi ang mahal ng parking sa US
Saan to, Sir Bong? West Coast,
California.
East Coast? California.
West,
Okay.
Yes.
So you can ride all year round.
Yes.
Sulit na sulit yung bike.
Pag winter, kahit sabihin mong hindi nag-i-snow doon, napakalamig,
I remember riding in Feb in California.
Yes.
And hindi akala ko mainit. Pero grabe ang lamig doon, Feb.
No. That's why yung motorcycle jacket mo, it has may layers, di ba? So you can use it. Dagdagan mo ng layer pag winter, then you remove it during summer. So, and then yung meron sila yung mga motorcycle gloves. May gloves sila na pwede mong isaksak, na palagyan mo ng outlet, so it warms your hands during long rides na.
Yung mga big bike dito, yung imported, like the BMW, may heated grips yon. Ang sarap nun kung mahaba yung biyahe at umuulan.
Correct.
Doon ko lang ginagamit yon. Pero
So the grip itself is heated.
oo.
Doon kasi yung may mga, well, siguro yan yung bagong innovation, ano, dahil yung mga inabutan ko noon, it's the gloves that you use. Para talagang ano, yung kasi mandatory gloves sa kanila eh. Mandatory gloves sa kanila. Mandatory gloves.
Okay.
Kaya yan din yung inaano ko doon sa mga na the importance of gloves. Kaya makikita mo, di ba, may knuckle protection sila. Kasi during the time na yung sa motorcycle safety course, they demonstrate that to us. Tignan nyo, pag tamaan ng bato tong knuckles nyo, the tendency is to let go of the handlebar. So that's why yung mga gloves doon, knuckle protected, hard knuckles talaga.
And there's a lot of highway riding eh. And ang bilis nila tumakbo sa highway. So ang laking bagay ng knuckle protection. Oo.
Correct. So tama 'yon, ano? Tama 'yon kasi may freeway ka eh, 70 miles per hour ang noon, speed limit doon. So that's more than 100 na already dito.
Ako nasi-stress ako doon. Sobrang kasi ang daming lane eh. Ang lawak.
Dami.
So,
totoo.
You know, kung sa Pinoy riding, you've got less lanes, but you're focused on everything. Because you're ready for yung mga kamote, yung mga biglang kakat sa'yo. So, yung attention mo, 100% sa lahat ng lane sa harap mo. Minsan may aso nga, di ba? Sa US, when I was riding there, in California, ang daming lane.
Dami.
And you're trying to process everything kasi Pinoy rider ka eh. Di ba? Iniisip mo lahat. So, sobrang stressed ako mag-drive sa highway, mag-motor sa highway.
Sa freeway, yes. Totoo.
Sa freeway.
But then again, mas pinakamabilis talaga yun eh. Dahil yung mga distance na kino-cover mo, kung magsa-side streets ka, ang layo. So, talagang pinaka-shortcut is mag-freeway ka. So, ang maganda naman doon, maluwag. No? Maluwag yung highway. Talagang yung focus mo while riding, talagang hindi katulad dito na nakikita mo yung three vehicles ahead of you, di ba? Doon parang parang riding ano bang ikukumpara natin dito? Parang sa mga suburbs na daan na wala masyadong mga sakyan, ano? So basically, ganun yung nila doon. And of course, pag dumating ka na sa urban setting doon, it's like San Francisco na masikip na. Even though na pinagbabawal nila yung lane splitting, bawal din doon eh. Pero it's parang unwritten rule na sige, basta kaya mo mag-lane split ka, parang gano'n. So that's why may kita mo.
Actually, Sir Bong, that's I don't want to go into like the legal stuff, you know. But in California, legal yung lane splitting, di ba?
Yes.
But other states hindi.
Hindi.
Sa Pinas,
So,
legal
iba-iba.
legal ba yung lane splitting?
Bawal, Well, it's unsafe, So, parang categorize siya na unsafe maneuver, no? Pero, yung sabihin mong maging legal na huhulihin ka dahil nag-lane split ka. Di ba? I haven't heard of it.
Ako rin. I've never heard of it happening. But so technically it's illegal, but it's not one of those. It's not one of those laws that we're strictly implementing.
Enforcing, yes. That's right. Tama yun. So, yun, maganda rin doon dahil talagang yung laws nila, they adapt to the current situation. Before,
correct.
yung mga Harley, walang limit in their mufflers, So talagang may ingay yan. The reason behind, sinasabi nila, hindi, this is
safety daw.
One way of getting the attention of the four-wheel drivers, di ba? So, kasi kung busina, they might not hear us eh. So, pag ni-rev up mo, baka maririnig ka, so they will be alerted na you might be in their blind spot or whatnot, So, ginagawa nila yan. But then again, there came a law na hindi lang highway pinag-uusapan natin because after the highway, you will be going to the community roads, And community roads, you will be disturbing the peace. kung ganyan yung motorsiklo mo. So, Harley designed a way na meron silang resonator switch. So, kung gusto mo nung
Okay.
malakas, open ka. So, rinig na rinig ka sa highway. But when you go to the community roads na, i-switch mo yon, so it will dampen yung sound, yung muffler mo. I think it's called resonator switch kung di ako nagkakamali.
Ano yun, sir? Right now, modern bikes have it. They call it the butterfly switch. The butterfly
The
valve.
butterfly switch. Oo.
So it's automatic on depending on your RPM. But mostly we just disconnect it kasi kahit naman na nakabukas, tahimik na rin yung motor.
Yes.
Unlike a Harley, no? Harley, ibang klase.
Ang ano ko lang kung it has an effect on the power though, kung it changes yung power output, yung torque nung sasakyan.
Meron din, sir. Pero yun nga, ngayon, as you open your throttle, the valve opens with it.
Okay.
Hopefully when Jolly gets on board, who's the engineer, we can talk about that a little bit later.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm totally clueless. All I remember is when I had a Harley and we lived in a small subdivision dito in Cubao. Every time morning ride, di ba? So tinutulak ko yan. Ang bigat out of the compound para hindi magagalit yung mga kapitbahay. And then and uphill yon. And before coming home, pinapatay ko yon and ginaglide ko yung motor papasok sa parking.
Ano ba, Iba? My first job when I went to the US back in 2001 was a bike builder for Carefree Custom. Yeah.
I didn't know
Carefree
that.
Custom Cycles.
Wow.
Okay, so it's not technical. It's just like it's like you're nagbubuo ka ng model. The bike comes in a box with instructions. The engine is already buo na. So you have a manual and then you just follow it and then you just put together everything. So that was my first job there. So
ano lang backyard business ba to, Iñaki, or may shop talaga?
One of the leading custom choppers. You can Google it. I don't know if there's still it's called Carefree Custom Choppers. This was in Arizona.
Galing. So, Iñaki, ikaw naman, how did you get into riding?
Well, when back in the 70s, my dad bought this 50cc mini trail. I think it was intentionally bought for my sister.
Huh? Hindi para sa'yo?
It was bought, no. It was bought for my sister. Yun ang kwento ng brothers ko.
Sister yung favorite.
Yeah. Kasi in that time, nauso yun eh. Sila nila JRC, sila Ramon Rodriguez, they bought 50cc motorcycles. And they would use it all around, no? My dad also. So after that, it was given to my sister. And my sister was riding it all over inside our compound in my lolo's house. To make a long story short, 4 brothers kami. Siyempre, binuli na yung sister na.
Younger or older?
Older sister.
Older. Okay.
So what we would do in our compound, in my lolo's house, mahaba yun eh. Pwede ka pag 4th gear ng kotse. So we take turns. 2 rounds each, stop, then hanggang mag-overheat yung bike at mamatay. So 1 bike lang. And then my older brother, si Gurmit, he started jumping the mini trail.
Wow, and that's what it's for talaga eh. Masaya yung mini trail eh. Masarap paglaruan
so,
yun.
Hindi ba walang suspension yun sa likod? Rigid eh. Kaso medyo he overdid it. Nung medyo pangit na yung motor, dahil lang, ayaw ng sakyan ng sister ko. So, yung brothers, tuwan-tuwa naman. So, ganun lang, 50cc. And then, sa San Juan kami noon, I would tatakas ko, dadaling ko sa kotse, ay sa kalsada. Pag may pulis, iakit ka sa bangketa, sir. Pag walang pulis, bababa ko sa Ortigas Avenue. Yung older brother ko, palagi na lang nahuhuli ng pulis. So yung pulis, isasaka yung motor. My lolo that time was Justice Pastor Endencia. So they would go to our house. Oh, Lolo, Justice, ito na naman yung apo nyo. Nahuli na naman namin sa Ortigas.
Pasaway.
So ang tatanungin, sino yan? Sinong apo yan? Sinong lalaki yan? Kasi so my dad would just laugh at us, no? But my lolo, ayaw niya talaga. Pero hindi kami mapigilan eh. Tsaka that time, safe na safe mag-ride, di ba?
Yeah.
Safe na safe. And then, my brother bought a 125. It was a dirt bike that time. So he was into motocross. Tipong underground motocross, that's Gurmit. Hindi naman siya nagmo-motocross talaga, pero mahilig siyang mag-ride sa empty lot. So hanggang, kaya mo to, subukan mo. So ang gagawin niya, mali pa ako noon. Siguro mga grade 3 ako. Siya ang tutukod, ako magpapaandar. So gano'n na nangyari doon. Until hindi ko pa abot, tutukod siya, nakaangkas siya, bigla na lang siyang tatalon. So I end up, riding the dirt bike alone.
Ano to, 80s na to?
Mga siguro mga 81, ganyan, 80.
You know, we had an 80s episode, and like sila Coach Mel. Coach Mel Aquino.
Oy, Coach Mel, kamusta? Idol ko yan.
Oh, si Coach Mel, if you guys can see on the screen, on the bottom left, I can highlight yung yun, like si Direct Bing, Iñaki, looking good, bro. Kita mo dito sa
neighbor
bottom
ko
left.
Yan. Alam niya yung sinasabi ko. Neighbor ko yan sa San Juan.
So, going back, no, in our 80s episode, lahat ng mga kwento ng mga riders in the 80s blow my mind because you must have been a really, really good rider to survive the 80s. Because not only were the motorcycles crazy with like horrible brakes, they were overpowered, hindi nag-helmet yung mga tao, parang wild west yung riding in the 80s sa Pinas eh.
Baduy ka pag naka-helmet ka. Baduy ka.
And then,
kailangan naka-Ray-Ban ka lang.
Yun nga eh. And then, and the fact that you guys survived riding in the 80s and are still riding now means you're a really good rider.
But that time naman kasi most of the semplangs are same self-semplangs eh. Walang kamote na kotse, there was so much space.
Oh yun, sabi ni Direct Bing, shades lang.
Kalaban ko lang dyan was when I was going from San Juan, I would borrow a bike from my classmate and I would go from San Juan to DLSU. Shades lang akong kalaban ko dyan, bus sa Taft Avenue. Hindi maririnig yung busina. So other than that, if you stay away from the buses, okay ka. Kaso, pagdating mo doon sa school, pare, ang dumi mo talaga dahil sa shades. Ganon ka. Ang dumi mo.
Ngayon, I mean, I cannot imagine not riding without putting the proper gear. Like today, no? But thinking back in the 80s, and yung the first rides I ever did, like I'm surprised at the risks we took. Pero ngayon, we're older, we're more mature.
I think one of the causes for that is there's not enough gears out there to buy. Usually, when like our first helmet was a Bell, but it was given to us by Mariwasa when we bought the bike. And then for you to be able to buy riding gears, a decent helmet like Bell, you have to ask someone from the States, a relative, to buy it for you. Tapos, syempre, my family, they also have family in the States. So yearly, it's either my sister, my dad, or whoever goes to the States. Pag uwi niyan, meron na yan.
Pero mas madali magpabili ng t-shirt na polo kaysa magpabili ng helmet. Kasi helmet ang laki, di ba? Yung t-shirt. Abala talaga yung helmet kung magpapabili ka eh.
At saka that time, if you notice, I went from a 175 DT Yamaha and jumped to a CB750 because there was nothing in between.
Yeah.
Nothing in between, man. You don't have choices. So after I learned riding on a CB750, during the mid-80s, my friends, all of a sudden, they had 400 Maxims and, 600cc bikes. Cruiser pa nun, yung Nighthawk, sir. Virago.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, wala pang sport bike nun. And then the GPC came. The GPC, the Ninja GPC came. Ayan na. Wala nang, hindi na ako naalis sa Ninja after that.
Lahat kayo nanood ng Top Gun. And Ninja talaga yun.
There's four of us, four brothers who ride. And then I don't know if you read about that story of Alice about my brother who had cancer.
Yes. Oh,
yeah. So
okay.
So four of us we rode, no. And then my brother got busy with this work, decided to siguro no time stop, no. So it was still three of us. So in the States, I was riding also to my job because I would test my bike. I had to put 150 miles on it. And
sarap naman ng trabaho. So pag buo mo,
ang hirap.
You need to ride 150.
Yes. They give you a speedometer, a test speedometer, and you have to ride it. And then retighten everything, put Loctite. It's simple.
Pero
it's not
Arizona, iba yung init doon, pare. When I was in Arizona, you open the door,
mainit.
It hits you. Like you can feel the heat hit you talaga.
Yes. Yeah, parang oven pag summer. Pero when you're running, bilisan mo lang, pare.
Dry
bilisan
naman.
Mo lang, malamig na.
Dry.
So, what I did there was, I had to get a license just like Sir Bong, no? Sir Bong doon, ibang klase. Whether marunong ka o hindi, mandatory yung 2 weeks seminar.
And
then, And then may test. May test ka. When you pass the test, may student permit ka. You have to stay on the bike for 90 days. And you cannot ride any bike above 125cc. After that, you take the test and then yun na, open na. And the funny thing there is, sobrang lakas ko ng sa Arizona ang HQ ng Hells Angels. So sa sobrang lakas ng labi nila, if you are riding a custom bike or a cruiser, walang helmet yan. But if you're riding a Japanese bike and a sport bike, you have to be wearing complete gear.
Yeah, grabe.
May discrimination pati sa bike.
Kasi naman you know how it is when you ride there sa freeway, nakakaantok. Even though you're na sport bike, antokin ka talaga eh. It's all diretso. We had a Marilaki there na kaming mga sport bike riders. Pero ang iksi kasi it's just an access road going to a posh subdivision up the hills. That's our Marilaki. And every time, mga Sundays, nandiyan yung mga sport bike riders. But most of the rides there are straight. Going to Vegas or, So yun yung ko doon. I was able to buy a cheap Ducati 916 there. Bought it for $1,500.
Sarap naman.
Sa auction. Akala nila hindi tumatakbo eh. Simple fix lang pala. Parang $150 fix lang. Ayun, nagkaroon ako ng Ducati. Yun yung bike ko doon. So yun yung riding story ko.
Ducati doon, yung go overheat.
Doon, sir?
Hindi. Hasaw ka talaga doon eh.
Tumatakbo parati. Walang traffic doon, sir eh. Ang traffic doon na pagka, let's say sa stoplight, no? Sa pedestrian, pag nagkaroon ng pila ng mga 8 cars doon. Traffic na yon, sir. Nagbumura na mga tao doon.
Tsaka nag-change
So,
light na yun. Pag
diretso.
may 3 layers na yun, nag-change light na
Oo,
yun.
traffic na yon.
Siya, oo. Tama
Traffic
naman.
na.
Yun pala, ano na doon sa Amerika, no? Pag nakamotorsiklo ka. Because ang mga signal lights nila doon, mga traffic lights nila, are automatic, ano?
Yes.
Vehicle activated. Ibig sabihin,
Yes.
may sensor yung road. May sensor yung road. Kaya kung bike ka, kung motorsiklo, hindi nag-change yung light kung ikaw nasa unahan. Kasi it's too light. It's
Hindi
too
na
light.
detect.
Hindi niya
Yes.
dinidetect, ano? So kaya ang
Hindi na
ginagawa,
detect.
hindi na
Kaya
didetect
pala
yung
yung
sensor
ano,
sa
yung
ilalim.
meron
Ayun,
sa mga
nandyan na si Jolly.
accessories. Meron sa mga
Yes,
accessories
there is.
sa US.
May
Yung
magnet,
para mabasa.
may magnet silang nilalagay sa ilalim.
Oo.
Ah,
No,
Magnet
it's like
also.
a magnet. So para na-attract niya yung sensor. Others, yung walang ganon, ang ginagawa, well, ako, katulad ng ginagawa ko, pagdating ko sa stoplight, kung ako mauuna, I will move
Got.
to the side, sa center, sa linya mismo, para to get the vehicle on my side. Para yung sa kanya, yung sasakyan niya madidetect. Pero kung ako lang, magagalit sa'yo minsan, lalo na kung yung 2 lanes, tapos pareho kayong bike na nasa unahan, hindi mag-change. Kaya
Hindi
binubus
mag-change.
nila kami tumobe. Oo. So, buti dito, walang ganon.
Okay, so
Yun.
Sir Bong, what got you into riding in the PH? From the States, were you like, all right, I gotta get a motorcycle?
Yes,
Ah.
yes.
And then when you came back to the Philippines, did you have that same parang mindset? Kasi ako, my primary mode of transport talaga is a motorcycle. Like parang hindi ko kailangan ng kotse. As in like wala akong kotse ngayon kasi hindi ko ginamit for over a year. Motor talaga.
Mm.
What got you
Well,
back into riding here?
actually, when I came back, hindi ko rin kailangan ng kotse kasi I was not going out that time, dahil unang-una, I didn't have a permanent job then. Kung may trabaho man ako, it's always outside Metro Manila, for consultation and all that. So dito, bihira akong lumalabas. So then, to be honest with you, bibili ako ng bike for my weekend ride lang eh. Because I have this parang weekend ritual, So, I go out for coffee on a weekend. Tapos, I go to the mall. On Sundays, I go to church. So, these basic errands that I do, sabi ko, magmumotor na lang ako. Di ba?
Kasi parusa kung ginamit mo kotse sa ganun. Di ba? I mean, like, just going to the mall, looking for parking, going
That's
to
right.
church, nakapila. I mean, and if
That's
it's
right.
just you, who's here in the country,
Tama.
motorcycle is really the more practical choice.
Oh. So then I was looking, sabi ni Mrs., do not buy a parang yung super bike, yung mga high cc na bike.
Mga big
Kasi,
bike.
Yung mga bike
wala
ni
siyang-
Iñaki.
wala siyang tiwala na you could control your yung adrenaline mo na kulang pa yan, sige pa, di ba? So at least if you are limited to the torque or the cc of the motorcycle, that's the fastest you could go. So sabi ko, sige, bibili ako nung Then I got into motard, XR200 Honda.
Yun ang masaya sa traffic.
Yun ang masarap talaga. I mean, high elevation ka. Tapos,
Yep.
it's just nice to ride, And hindi ko na, naka-motard na talaga siya. So when I bought it, naka-motard na lang siya. So talagang pang street na siya. It was nice. It was nice ride. Then again, ang nagiging problema ko, when I go out, pag pumunta na naman ako dun sa, for example, in Butuan, I will stay there for a month. Pagdating ko dito, ang hirap mo na i-start yung motor. No? So, punta ka na naman sa shop, pa-charge yung battery, then change oil and all that, then ride ka na naman. No? So, yun ang bike ko dito. No? Then, lately lang, I gave up that bike. I was really thinking of buying bigger one. Yung Honda, meron na yata silang Honda 650. May Honda 500, yung parang Super 4 din siya eh.
CB. Yung
Pero
CB, di ba, Jolly?
CB, I think.
Ah,
So
yung
anyway,
Mm-mm.
Ay, my friend was telling me na, may labas na dyan yung Super 4 na bago, no? Actually, ina-arbor ko lang yung sa classmate ko na Super 4 niya, ayaw niyang ibigay eh. Anyway, so I was really trying to buy that bike, and then came the Vespa. Sabi ko, okay tong Vespa.
Yun.
Nako, yun.
Ilan
sabi
cc?
ko, 150, the Racing 60s. I got it from my friend sa Mototechnic. So, ang hirap ng pila, grabe. Ang hirap
Oo.
kumuha
Sold
ng
out.
Vespa.
Sold out.
Oo.
Ubusan ng Vespa.
I mean, even in his shop, hindi talaga tumatagal yung mga units niya. So,
Lalo na ngayon, during the lockdown. Sa pandemic, ang hirap makahanap ng Vespa.
grabe. So, I ordered mine October.
Mhm.
Akala ko na nga hindi matutuloy eh. Then suddenly, deliver sa akin. Akala ko hindi na tayo tuloy eh. Sabi ko, sobrang tagal eh, no? Sobrang tagal. So, but anyway, I have my Racing 60s. That's the one that I use now in going to work, no? Kaya ako punta doon kasi mas convenient siya. Kasi sa work, if I want to go to Starbucks, na magkape ako in between, or have lunch, yun na yung hindi ka na nahihirapan ng parking, wala kang traffic, no? So, very convenient for me, yung scooter. Lalong-lalo na commute ride siya.
Sir Bong, before we move to Jolly segment. We lost Jolly again. Coach Mel and Mark Sung, our guest last week, they're addicts when it comes to riding off-road. So feeling ko nagyayaya sila mag Sunday trail off-road. Have you ever tried that?
Dito hindi pa.
Oy,
Ayun.
you have to try it. You have to try it. It is
I should.
walang MMDA doon.
Sir, kailangan muna tayo mag-lesson kay Mel Aquino.
Yun. I highly
mag-lesson
recommend.
kay Mel Aquino.
True.
Nako,
Ay.
delikado yun kung si Sir Bong nagmelakino iba, baka masagad-sagad na yung motard.
Oo nga. Baka babalik siya sa motard. No, but I when it comes to learning how to ride, I did not realize how little I knew about riding and the physics and braking until I trained with Coach Mel.
Same
It really gives braking and riding off-road gives you a lot more confidence. O yun, sabi ni Coach Mel, let's go. Sabi ni Mark Sung. Mark Sung is the guy who brought me off-road a couple of months ago. I thought I was gonna die, but I came out and it was one of the best rides of my life.
Yan nga iba yung light, yung ay sabi ni Bing, light, quote-unquote light trail.
Yep,
Nope.
yep.
Nope.
There's no such thing.
Yep.
Pero alam mo,
masaya yun. And Mark's got a bunch of bikes that you can use, like a ton of motorcycles. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Hindi ka makikinayan. Kasi di naman sa'yo yung bike.
Yeah.
Pero yung I have to add lang yung off-road training talaga, yung lalo na yung kay Malakino. So 'di ba, nag-ride na tayo ng matagal eh. So ako personally, kala ko magaling na ako na rider. So, sige, tara mag-Malakino tayo. Pero iba, alam mo sa totoo lang, the more I learned more about dun sa pag-ride talaga, yung tunay na riding talaga, the more na nasisira yung confidence ko eh.
Yep, agree.
So, ang tingin ko talaga sa akin ngayon parang hindi, kailangan ko pa mag-aral kasi parang medyo madami pa akong kanin na makakain eh. Pagdating sa pagmumotor talaga eh. The more you learn, parang the more insignificant I feel.
Official na yan, Coach Mel ha. May kasama coaching, training, motor, and then papakainin pa tayo ni Mark Sung.
Wow.
Yun.
Yun.
Sasama na ako dyan, Iba. Sasama na ako dyan.
Pare, the best magpakain si Mark. When we went up the last time, si Mark nagluto ng, like, I don't know if it was the best adobo I've ever had. It could be because nothing makes something taste so good when you experience extreme fear and extreme puyat and pagod. Yun, the best yun.
Pag nag-survival mode ka, masarap talaga lahat ng
ang
pagkain.
sarap talaga ng pagkain. Like, I'm alive! Ang sarap ng adobo! All right. So, yeah, Jolly, it's your turn. Finally.
Ako na,
Ikaw
lang.
na, Jolly.
Nasaan na ba tayo? Nakakarating ko lang. Ayun,
dapat
ano
tanungin natin kay Jolly kung anong tawag dun sa resonator switch.
Yun. We were talking
about
about it earlier. So Sir Bong was saying that in the US, there's this switch that you can flip that reduces the decibels ng exhaust.
Oh,
Particularly sa Harley.
okay na.
Particularly sa Harley.
Yeah.
And then the question is, does it impact performance?
Alam mo, that's interesting to hear kasi uso din sa Amerika. Alam mo yung mga super trap na exhaust? Yung na-adjust mo yung ingay?
Yes. Oo.
Yung nagdadagdag ka ng plates? Parang it seems to be a thing sa US. Adjustable exhausts.
Kasi it's for the California noise emission.
Yes.
Grabe yung
they came up with a law na parang hindi papasa yung Harleys nila.
Yes.
So,
if
baka
you
sa
don't-
California lang.
Yeah.
It could be.
Pag hindi mo
pero
pag hindi ka pumasa doon sa emission testing, kasama yun sa emission testing yung noise emission, hindi ka maka-register. Until sir, alam ko naging federal law na Lahat ng bike merong pati Japanese bikes, merong butterfly valve sa exhaust.
So it could be a US only technology.
Thing.
most
I think
probably
so.
kasi sila they have a law against it. So
Yeah.
so I think the manufacturers came up with designs like this para yung papasa yung mga motorsiklo kasi napakahigpit ng doon. Motorcycle vehicle inspection.
Actually sa alam ko lahat ng US spec na bikes talagang siya, naka-base sila sa California law kasi parang California na yung pinakamahigpit. So basta pumasa na sa California, okay na sa buong US yan. Tapos parang kung nagkabit kayo ng aftermarket exhaust, bahala na kayo. Parang burden na nung owner.
Parang ganun din yung lisensya. If you are California license, punta ka sa ibang states.
Coach Mel, 86 decibels ang allowed sa California.
Yun ang tanong.
86.
86.
Ako,
Baba
I really do not remember anymore.
Okay, so
Johnny, yung
Yes, sir.
yung ZX-10 ko, galing sa Japan. And then it was the MotoGP bike that time of Kawasaki that time. During
ZX-10, yung top of the line.
ZX-10, yes, during 2007, Kawasaki was still with MotoGP. Yun yung bike na nanalo ng 6 races yata, 6 tracks, and then they pulled out. So basically, it was imported from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, pagdating ko dito, nagkaroon ng check engine yung... So, basically, binili ko yun sa brother ko. Nagkaroon ng check engine yung bike ko. Sabi ni Mr. Nishizawa na president ng Kawasaki that time, you bring it to the plant, we'll fix it. So, tinanong ko, bakit anong problema? May check engine ka, find out natin kung anong problema. Doon kunento niya sa akin yung history ng bike, kung bakit siya pula, kung bakit siya all titanium. Nalaman ko, meron din siyang butterfly valve.
No.
But this...
pero lahat na ng bikes ngayon meron na
but this one, Jolly, the electronics was connected to a servo server.
Mm-hmm.
Stuck siya, wala yung servo.
Sir, as in may internet siya?
Parang bypass.
Mm-hmm.
Kung saan yung sabi, yung original na bike, na ZX-10R na hindi MotoGP bike, meron yan servo na when you open the throttle, it would open the butterfly valve in the exhaust, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
But ito, since it's a Japan model, although the valve is in the exhaust, yung electronics niya, wala, bypass. So I think platform na talaga yan
Mhm.
Standard
Talagang
na.
pang dun siya sa Japan talaga.
So tinanggal. But the valve is there. Nasa exhaust mismo.
Hmm. Pero ano siya parang sa tingin ko ano yun karamihan na rin na kasi ng mga bikes ngayon lalo na yung mga nag-Euro 6.
Yes,
Standard na naglalagay
oo,
nung
oo.
yung valve
May ano
Kailangan
ba
na
yan? May factor yun sa power? Kumbaga hindi mag-open o ano.
Ang pagkakaintindi ko, kasi 'di ba syempre by manufacturers, kanya-kanyang style sila Ang alam ko dun sa mga boxer na BMWs, yung valve is there to control backfiring. Kasi sobrang lean na, sobrang lean na tumakbo ng bike for para nga pumasok sa emission. So nangyayari, pag sinasara mo yung throttle, sumasara din yung yung exhaust valve
Oo,
para hindi
oo.
para hindi mag-backfire.
Oh, okay.
So, Jolly, it's your turn.
Ayun. Hindi, kasi medyo naghabol lang ako medyo naghahabol ako. So, magsimula tayo kay Sir Iñaki. Ano ba yung favorite bike mo ngayon or yung niride mo most often lately?
Ang dami, every week may bagong motor si Iñaki.
Wala, lahat yun. Swerte lang tayo, nakakagamit tayo ng mga iba-ibang motor. Pinapairam tayo ng motor. Pero yung one thing na hindi ko nga mabenta talaga yung ZX-10 ko. Hindi ko.
Actually, elib ako kay Iñaki because I would see him on the road like after work in San Juan, like sabay, feeling ko sabay yung rota natin And naka-scooter ako, and we're talking about rush hour traffic. And naka-big bike siya na sport bike in traffic. Pare, tibay mo. Ibang discipline yon, ibang passion yon.
Kasi
ako naka 150 lang ako.
Yung notion nila.
Kakarating ko lang.
Yes.
So, medyo nahuhuli ako sa usapan. Pero, kung mahilig ka talaga sa ZX-10R, Sir Iñaki, ako, fan ka ng Top Gun, no?
Ano yun?
Yep. Kanina pa namin pinag-uusapan yan.
Pinag-usapan yan.
Shades, walang helmet, ninja. Yun. Ray-Ban lang.
Ayos.
May naka-flight jacket, ano?
Hindi kasi yung
flight jacket. And then, piloto pa si Sir Bong. So, ano talaga?
Iba yung ZX-10R. Akala nila na, ang bigat, ang hirap isingit sa traffic. Baka mas magaang pa yun sa motor mo, yung ZX-10R ko.
Yung LX150 ko, mabigat talaga yun. For a 150.
Ang hirap buhatin ng Vespa.
And ang nipis ng bike. So, kaya mong i-maneuver. Kaysa sa mga naka-upright. Kasi tatama yung bike. So, nasanay na ako doon. And katulad mo, ayoko na magkotse. Kasi unang-una, pagdating mo doon, walang parking. Unang-una, kailangan ka umalis ng maaga. Unang-una. So, naging ugali ko na kumbaga, meron kami lakad ni boss. I go to his house and park my bike there. Or, Secretary Alunan would pick me up in my house if I need to be dressed up, no? But most of the time, if we go officially to, let's say, Malacanang or DND or any function, I'm in my riding gear, man.
Yep, same.
Pero naka-jeans ako, naka-riding shoes ako. At the most, I wear a t-shirt na may collar and then I just pin my flag there. Presentable na, di ba?
Pare, in a previous life,
yeah.
I was part of a conglomerate. And lahat ng mga senior executives may meeting. Maraming subsidiaries yon pare. So lahat sila naka-office attire. And then, naka-pangatlong meeting na gano'n, na pumupunta ako, and then finally nagsalita ako sa meeting. Nagulat sila. Kasi yung mga ibang executive, akala nila driver ako o messenger. Kasi pagpasok ko doon, naka-helmet, tanggal, upo sa upuan, tanggal ng bag.
Ay, alam mo pagdating nga talaga sa ganyan, ang laking bagay nung nagmomotor ka. Kasi, like yung kwento nyo nga, minsan kapag may mga meeting kami, lalo when I was working at an engineering firm, meron kami yung project dati sa MOA. So galing Makati, kailangan namin pumuntang MOA. So parang jolly kukuha service, hindi na, magmomotor na lang ako. Sure ka? Meeting yun O parang, oo, sure ako kasi bago mag-rush hour, alis na ako dun Kapag nagkotse tayo, 2 oras ako mapapanis sa traffic. Laking bagay ng bike talaga.
Tsaka tayo, I'm sure, iba, Jolly, expert na tayo kung paano maging mabango. Alam na
Yun.
natin, di ba?
At
Sir
saka
Bong,
paano,
may dala
paano
kaming
magputi?
towel,
Actually.
face towel,
Ito.
na basa, naka
Ito.
budbud ng alcohol, tapos naka-ziplock yan. Tapos meron
Oo.
kaming extra shirt na kung kailangan magpalit. Tapos alam namin kung paano, mga helmet namin sigurado mabango.
Yeah.
Actually, yung swerte
So-
ako because I would just leave a bag in the office. So yung lahat ng gamit ko nandun, and malaking bagay yung mga wet ones. And then you get there early, magbanyo ka muna, konting ayos, and then okay na.
Wet ones,
Yun.
tawag namin dyan, GI shower.
GI shower.
At saka yung yung mga ironless na mga polo, tsaka yung pagtupin.
Yun.
Yes.
Oh, yung wrinkle-free.
Yeah.
Wrinkle-free.
So the best dyan,
Agree.
511 na t-shirt. Hindi nagugusot yan, hindi nababasa.
The reason why Under Armour is our partner is because that's all I wear, yung golf outfits ng Under Armour.
Yes,
Yan
true.
ang,
I wear that too.
May
I wear
collar,
that
medyo decent. I mean, still too
Yeah.
casual, but still it's
Yes,
better than
Yes. Yes. So that's my office attire. And some of the people which I deal with every day with that time with Sakrafi, they always look at my shoes. Kasi it's something that's unique, di ba? Titingnan nila, hindi naman mukhang pang-race, no? But something for the street. Sa makikita nila, parang, hindi pala rubber shoes yan. Black shoes. Black shoes naman okay naman Decente naman
Yung
yun na.
yung sa rider, we're always looking for something that's functional and passable. Yung mga daily rider sa mga meeting. Hindi mo naman
Yes,
kailangan yung pinaka-pogi, pinaka-maayos,
Yes.
pero pasado.
Yes. Meron nga, Sir Bong, parang slacks pero pang-ride.
Yep.
Meron.
Pare,
Meron
I remember last year, I had to go talk sa isang Senate working group or yung mga session, I mean, you guys are used to it.
EWG.
Yung malaking room, maraming table, nandun yung mga senador.
Yeah.
Ang layo,
Committee
di ba?
hearing.
Committee hearing. So, bumili ako ng Uniqlo, yung jacket na hindi mo kailangan i-iron. Kahit i-roll mo yun.
Yes,
Pasok
yes,
mo sa
yes.
back. Nakasuot ako ng yoga pants galing Decathlon na mukhang
Kulay black.
na kulay black. And then, collared shirt lang. Yun lang yung pinaka-importante. And diretso ako doon sa, sa working committee sa Senate.
Ganun na talaga
Ganun talaga. Because I'm not gonna suffer 3 hours in traffic. Or, di ba,
Same
3.5 hours.
And what's nice about riding in the street and commuting with a motorcycle, any motorcycle, Sir Bong, is you control your time. Something that you cannot pay for.
Malaking bagay.
Oras mo. You can
Lalo
actually predict.
Actually, I was, dito sa Pilipinas, talagang bumilis yung pagdami ng mga motorsiklo, no? So, nung nasa MMDA ako, I try to, research on this. Bakit ba, ano ba nangyari sa Pilipinas? Bakit parang nagkaroon tayo ng culture ng Vietnam, Thailand, yung mga Southeast Asian nations, no? Na biglang dumagsa yung motor, no? And true enough, people are looking for something that is hindi lang cheap, pero maneuverable. Kaya makikita mo, may mga mayayaman na nagmomotor eh. It is not only because it's cheap, primarily because ang napaka-agile eh. Very maneuverable yung bisikleta. So parang during my research, yan yung mga lumalabas. Aside from easy to maintain, it's cheaper than 4 wheels, no, maneuverable, di ba? Hindi lumalabas na hindi kasi hindi ako bibili niyan dahil masyadong exposed, masyadong dangerous, it doesn't come out. So basically, yun yung binabayaran nila doon. That's why they're jumping on motorcycles right now.
Pero sir,
And
if I could also add to that, no, yung lahat yon, for me, the most important, kasi let's say may isang tao ako dati, and he's a good friend of mine also. He lived in Bulacan. Office namin nasa Makati. Commute siya. Pare, iba yung oras na nauubos.
correct.
And then when he bought a small motorcycle, kahit hindi siya pwede mag-highway, kahit nag-MacArthur lang siya, and then he added quality time with his family, with his wife.
So,
He
yun.
added time na pwede siya matulog. 'Di ba? This is stuff that you can't pay for. You can't buy that eh. And then imagine if you earn more, right? If you're more than a minimum wage employee, your time has a lot more value because you
Value.
earn more, right?
Yeah.
True.
The fact that
Bro,
I
actually,
can save time and get more sleep or spend more time with my family, that for me is the biggest advantage of riding a motorcycle.
Tama yun. Actually, dalawa yan eh. Quality time and productivity.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yun.
productivity at work. Kasi pag na-traffic ka, pagdating mo sa work, you could be late and it affects your productivity. So, ganun din, pag uwi mo, yung more time that will be spending on the road, what will be affected is your quality time. No time for
Diba may
love.
Gika? You know this more than any of us. There was this Gika study about the billions lost in traffic. This is what you're
3.5.
fighting for. 3.5 billion
5 billion a day.
a day.
A day.
Wow.
That's the cause of
A day.
that's the cause of congestion. So that's the one that we are trying to yung lower down. Kasi 3.5 billion, you could already build a bridge.
Yep.
No?
Yep.
So yun yung doon. Actually, that's part of my research paper that I'm doing right now. The effect of congestion on the daily commuters, on their productivity and their quality time. Quality of life, basically. Quality of life, no? Kasi if uuwi ka, you do not have time with your kids and your family, basically, nawawala yung quality of life mo eh. Yeah.
Oo.
Hindi ka na,
Or pag umuwi ka, pagod na pagod ka.
Correct.
'Di ba? Tulog ka na lang eh. Or
Tulog
ka na lang.
Oo.
Tulog, gigising ka din. Dahil malilate ka naman, kailangan mo gumising
Yep.
maaga.
Alas
That's it.
4.
So the cycle just goes on. No? So, well, yan din yung kaya pinag-iisipan nga yung we do not want to dilute the legalities, pero ano ba, motorcycle lane ba? Kailangan ba tayo magkaroon ng dedicated motorcycle lane? Syempre, two sides of the story yan. So, meron yung pro, meron yung against, no? So, ang ano talaga dyan is, why not get from the good practices of other countries who had the same problems, who went through the same stages of this kind of problems in their country.
We're going
Anong
through what
ginawa nila?
Thailand went through in
Yes.
the 90s. 'Di ba? Na 90s ganito
Yes.
yung Thailand. Exacto.
Thailand,
Same thing.
ganyan din.
Growing
Same thing.
middle class.
That's
People
right.
are not commuting. They're buying vehicles and then traffic.
True.
Sir.
Not only that, pati Vietnam, Pero there's so many things to learn, There's so many things to learn from these countries. And pati yung pati nga yung now we're promoting bicycle lanes, Have we forgotten about the motorcycles? No? Hindi lang naman pwedeng active transportation lang. We already have these motorcycles sa road natin even before we came up with the bicycle lane, So what are we going to do with them? Yun nga lang talaga, other countries have the luxury of space, to build dedicated motorcycle lanes compared to us. Na parang talaga yung urban development natin, they were not considered, They were really, well, I do not want to say neglected, pero they were not foreseen before na magkakaroon tayo ng gantong karami ng motorsiklo. And yun nga yung pinag-aaralan ng MMDA. I for one, that's what I'm trying to research on. Actually, I submitted a policy paper regarding yung motorcycle lane kasi hindi lang siya about segregation eh. We're talking about here of safety also, no? Eh syempre, alam naman natin pag riders ka, two wheels ka, wala kang protection, exposed ka, di ba? But then again, sabi ko nga, this is just an initial phase, no? I need to submit it. I want to have the NCTS, the National Center for Transportation Studies, to look at this policy research that I also made. Para sa ganun, hindi tayo magkakamali. Hindi ko sinasabing mali yung motorcycle lane na we have on EDS right now. Well, ngayon, hindi na talaga applicable because we have the barriers on the left side, no? And ang susunod na lane na doon is the motorcycle lane. So talagang, we cannot allow that to have the barriers beside the motorcycle lane.
Pero Sir Bong, nakakagaan loob the fact that someone who is a public servant is also a rider and understands the needs and the challenges that riders face. I mean, honestly, Jolly and Iñaki, Bong, and myself, we're not the people who are impacted by the rules and regulations as much. We're blessed, but it's good to know that there is somebody who's out there waking up at 5 a.m. every day, going out, and even though you're enforcing the rules, you're also, yun, tama sabi ni Coach Mel, you're also isang tunay na rider. Diba? Kasi as opposed to the people who mandate and create the legislature, diba? The people who are creating the laws that don't really understand what's happening on the ground.
Kaya nga, that's right, iba, no? Sometimes it really hurts, lalo na nung nasasabihan ka ng iba na hindi mo nararamdaman yung nararanasan namin on the road, ganyan, ano? Well, ang sa akin kasi, I know, I see it, I observe it. Di ba? I observe it. Katulad nung dati may motorcycle lane tayo, sabi ko, this is close to impossible to implement, to enforce. Di ba?
Yep.
parang nag-create lang tayo ng policy na and then you're giving the tasking to the enforcers. Di ba? Sabi ko parang it's close to impossible, ano? Unless you do it by CCTV, no? So, yun nga, ang laging pinag-iisipan ko, how can we move this if we want a motorcycle lane and we do not want motorcycle riders to weave in and out of traffic? We must do something else, ano? And I think the motorcycle lane itself is not doing its purpose. Kaya nga, on my own, that is a policy research paper that I did. Baka meron, baka may magawan tayo ng paraan. Why not look at the good practices of other countries ahead of us who had the same problems that we're encountering now ahead of us, ano? So yun yung I've been to Thailand, I've been to Vietnam, and I was trying to observe how they do it. Pero may kamote rin sila, no, na talagang parang automatic yung pag-disobey ng mga rules and regulations. But ang sabi ko nga, there's hope. Kung itong mga to na ganyan din yung mentality ng ba, there's hope in the horizon for us na mabago natin to, no? Infrastructure is part of traffic management. Hindi natin pwedeng alisin yun, eh. So we are seeing the problems right now. Basically, enforcement will not suffice to change, no? And again, sabi ko nga, this is all about this is in the name of safety palagi. Hindi to, this is not something to punish or to penalize yung mga riders. No. We're doing this to promote a safe environment for all road users, hindi lang sa riders. Kaya we cannot segregate, eh. Kailangan rider safety lang. Kailangan car safety lang. No, it's in totality, it's road safety for all road users, no? To include pedestrians.
Yes.
Diba? Kaya nga tayo nag-clearing ng kaya nga tayo nag-clearing ng sidewalk para may madaanan sila so that they will just be on their lane. Segregation is part of road safety, pero yun nga, where to put them is something that we need to really study and try, parang i-dry run natin kung talagang yan ba talaga yung perfecto. But then again, sinasabi nga, this might not be suited for everyone, but something must be done.
Correct. I agree 100%. And you know what you do and the videos again, sobrang follower ako ng mga videos mo is exactly you're implementing what I feel. Parang feeling ko nasa social media lang ako like. That really doesn't do it, right? But you're out there. And if there's any way, I'm pretty sure everyone watching now, if there's any way we can help to educate riders, to make it a safer place for riders, please tell us. We'll organize a group to help out. So yeah, Jolly, back to you.
Yun. Alam mo, ang dami nating natutunan ngayon, even lalo na sa pag-ano nga ng traffic. Pero I'd like to add din yung ang ganda nung sinabi ni Sir Bong, yung part ng traffic management is the infrastructure. Kasi alam mo, may mga ibang kalye talaga, they are designed with a particular flow in mind. So yun nga, pag minsan nangyayari, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga yung overcapacity or yung nga, like yung flow ng traffic, hindi naman siya meant dumalo ng ganun, nagkakaroon nga din tayo ng problema. Which is yung nga, nagiging pahirap lang both sa ating mga motorista at sa mga enforcers. At actually, ganda rin na sinabi ni Sir Bong na yung sa motorcycle lane, it makes, yun na nga parang sa tingin ko, double-edged blade siya na mahirap pagdating sa rider kasi nga, we had to follow a single lane. At the same time, mahirap sa mga enforcer kasi sila, ang hirap naman i-enforce para sa kanila din, di ba? Ganda nung ang ganda ng mga points yun. Pero yun nga, moving forward, pag-usapan naman natin yung yung ating Touratech Adventure Stories. So, natin ako.
What did you do? Biglang nawala. Sandali lang yun, Jolly. Hindi ka makatama.
Oo nga. So simulan natin kay Sir Bong. Meron ka bang mga kasi ikaw, you ride a Vespa, so marami tayong mga nabubuksan or na-explore ng mga kahit mga spaces, mga corners less traveled by the average motorist. Meron ka bang
or even in the US when he was riding, right? Like one of my most epic rides was what was that? Route 1 from San Francisco, Yosemite, and then back up, or the Mission ride, which was pretty epic as well. Ano yung pinaka-epic na motorcycle ride mo?
Well, actually, one is sa Great Highways. I don't know if you remember the Great Highways. That also connects to Highway 1. It's a great. Yun yung straight road, that leads to the beach. Marami nagbabike doon. Yung parang marami nagkwa-quarter mile doon.
Ito yung Half Moon Bay? Ito ba yung Half Moon Bay ride?
Hindi, doon siya mismo sa Great Highways na
Great Highways
going to Ocean Beach. Going to Ocean Beach, no? Yung paakyat ka ng Cliff House. So, I think I consider that one considering that I rode with my wife, no? Kasi sabi ko nga sa inyo, the one who really resisted of me riding and having a motorcycle is my wife. So, sabi ko, not join me and feel it, how nice it is na mag-ride. So, that's what we did. Siyempre ako, nag-start pa lang ako mag-motorsiklo noon. And then, I really do not know how, my ability to really have a back ride. But then again, sabi ko, kaya ko to Well, after doing it for a while na solo ride, sabi ko, kaya mag-back ride. So, I had her join me and we went to the beach. I'll bring you to the beach, sabi sa kanya. Then we rode the Great Highways. Ang maganda kasi doon, pagpasok ng Great Highways, talagang straight way, Talagang dire-diretso ka. Talagang kung gusto mo humataw, it's safe. Well-paved road. Maluwag siya, maluwag yung lane. And then talagang dire-diretso lang siya and bihira yung dumadaan na 4 wheels, no? So,
in my mind, parang Tom Cruise with what's her name riding behind? I forgot the name of.
I also forgot. No? So,
ganun, yun ang image.
but that really changed her perception, so to speak, na mag-ride din. Hindi na siya kinakabahan every time I go out, no? And even here in the Philippines, so sabi ko bibili ako ng bike, it was okay with her. Kaya nandito siya, and then I already had my Vespa, so we rode around. Natutuwa siya. Sabi niya, I want to ride also the Vespa. So that's the sabi ko, that will be more expensive now. Sabi ko gano'n, dati ako lang mag-bike, ngayon gusto mo na rin.
Times 2 lahat.
So,
times 2 lahat.
Times 2 lahat. So that will be more expensive now. But anyway, I think riding with my wife, who resisted long before, no, for me riding and having a bike, I think that for me is something parang game changer for me, and I always consider something memorable. Yeah.
Every time I ride with my wife, it's always it's a special thing. Daily commuter kami, right? So I bought her a motorcycle then, but it's always nice that you share this, and the more you ride together, the more in sync you are. I don't know.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to be in sync when you're riding together, and it just gets more in sync the more you ride together. Si Jolly hindi makaka-relate lonely yan Puro lalaki yung mga nagbabakrate sa kanya. It's true.
Alam mo,
Iñaki. Oh, yeah, Jolly.
Alam mo, sa totoo lang na nagsimula ako mag-bike iba, kala ko parang, eto na, magkaka-girlfriend na ako, pogi na ako. Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise. Hindi para sa parking lot ka, mga kapulalaki natin lalapit sa'yo Nice bike, bro.
Ang dami namin, gwapong kaibigan na rider. Speaking of gwapong kaibigan na rider, Iñaki, ano yung pinaka-epic ride mo?
Yung sa akin, dalawang pinaka-epic ride ko. First one is in Mindanao. I got lost from Coronadal and ended up in Maguindanao. Okay.
So dumaan ka Lake Cebu. Kang Lake Cebu. That's a nice ride.
Yeah,
That's a nice ride to get lost in.
So galing akong Lake Cebu.
Yep.
Going back to Coronadal, you turn right.
I
turned left.
Yung intersection. I know that.
Okay, so I turned left. The road was so nice. Ang ganda-ganda ng kalye na I know I was getting lost. But sige pa rin, diretso pa rin ako. Doon ko na experience na flat out talaga yung Ninja 1000 pinahiram sa akin.
Yep.
Yung Ninja 1000, pag i-flat out mo yan, ng more than 3 minutes, mag-overheat yan. Bababaan mo lang ng konti yung throttle, bababa na yung tatakbo na naman. So, na-flat out ko siya ng 220 for more than 5 minutes. Iinit siya, bababa ko yung throttle, lalamig na naman, pwede na naman. Ganon kaluwag ang Narciso Ramos Highway. Alam kong nawawala na ako. Almost 3 hours ako nawala. Yung SAF escort ko, hindi na makahabol. I ended up in Maguindanao, Pasisulan, Sultan Kudarat, lahat yan. And I was alone.
So, okay.
Buti hindi ka na-checkpoint doon, ha? Wala,
sir. Pagka paparahin pa lang ako, wala na Wala. Na yun, sir. Walang checkpoint
doon.
May araw pa kasi.
Yun. Okay. So, that's actually that's my bike tip. If you're riding in that area, and pagdating ng mga 4 o'clock, bumibilis na yung takbo ng mga kotse doon. Kung bumibilis na yung takbo ng mga kotse, maghanap ka na ng safe space.
Sa akin, bro, nakabalik ako ng Coronadal na about 6:30 p.m.
Good timing.
6:30 p.m. But my ride going to Maguindanao, walang kotse. Inuunahan ko Ang ganda ng kalye talaga, sweeping turns. Tapos noon, nung sumama na yung kalye after the bridge, sabi ko, familiar na tong area to. Flat na. Wala nang bundok, flat na. Tapos, balik na ako. So yun, bumalik na ako.
So sabi ni Brando, tama, magkasama kami ni Brando when we did that. And then also Brando was saying, haha, I remember that, Iñaki, lumagpas ka. So may kasama kang iba, nang damay ka pa.
Yes. And my next perfect ride for me was in Bacolod. Don Salvador Benedicto. Going back to Bacolod. During the Mascara ride, I was invited by my brother, Thunderbugs. Thunderbugs kasi. I was invited. And then, on the way back from Don Salvador Benedicto, yung pababa lang doon, I was lent a W800.
So that's on a nice bike to use there. Chill lang. Hindi ka hahataw dyan.
Hataw pa rin eh.
hindi iba. Sabi na.
But pabalik, nakita ko yung view, yung isang straight na pababa lang na panay tubuhan left and right. Tapos sunset pa sa harap. Yung sunset sa harap, ayaw mong bumilis eh. Bumagal ako from, I think, 100. Bumagal ako ng 50 kilometers per hour and you were riding easily with your visor open.
Yep.
And the guys behind me were asking, hey, what's wrong? Bakit ka, Sabi ko, ang ganda ng view. Ang ganda ng view. Yun ang, kumbaga yung ride na yun was nirvana for me.
Alam mo,
I wasn't chasing myself, pushing myself.
Picture ko, yung nakikita mo, Iñaki, parang nakakaingit nga. Alam mo yung W800, parang yun yung pinakagusto ko motor talaga, nagawa ng Japan. Sobrang chill nun eh. Tapos sunset, highway, parang nakakaingit.
At yung amoy jolly, yung amoy niya. Tapos yung sunset, yung tubuhan, parang pagpaakyat ka kasi brown, pero pag pababa ka, yung ibang side naman, parang green na siya. Tapos, alam mo, jolly yung amoy niya. Diba? I mean, sugar na, medyo mabaho, pero ang sarap talaga ng feeling. Yun ang epic para sa akin.
Yeah.
It's a bombardment of the senses.
Yes, exactly. Quote kita dyan, bombardment of senses.
And every place you go to, like yung mga ganon, the smell, may ibang character eh. 'Di ba? Like in Mindanao, iba yung character, iba yung amoy, iba yung and you don't get that when you're riding in a car. You're not immersed.
Mhm. It's ayon.
Talaga zen.
Alam mo funny you should mention this kasi para sa akin the first time I rode sa ibang bansa was in Australia. Nung kapitbahay ng kapatid ko nagmo-mow siya ng lawn. So, nung pauwi na ako, galing sa ride, nung umaga, so, coffee dun sa bundok, dun pababa. Nung pauwi na ako, as in, alam mo yung amoy nung bagong taba sa damo? So, talagang hampas sa headlamp, pumasok sa mukha ng helmet ko. So, parang every time I think of riding dun sa Australia, naalala, talagang nasa utak ko, parang nagfo-flashback ako dun sa amoy ng damo. Sa amoy nung freshly cut grass. Parang yun lang yung yung nga yung part nga nung lord ng bike that it exposes you to everything
You are in the zone. I mean, you're creating memories because you are immersed. All of your senses, your body is engaged in that experience. And on that philosophical note, we're here on our final question. Sir Bong, let's start with Sir Bong. How do you define anong tunay na rider? Diba? Ano yung tunay na rider para sa'yo? Anong definition mo?
Well, tunay na rider, I think, this is one thing that I learned when I was starting riding. Parang you need to be one with your ride. So, tama, it's enjoyable. It's freedom. That's what we call it. Pag nagra-ride ka, wow, talagang yung the ecstasy that you feel in riding, is something. So, but then again, that's the joy of riding. Pero ang pagiging tunay na rider, we could all enjoy this. I think we need to go back to basics. Yung for me particularly, we need to set a good foundation because at the end of the day, it's always safety. Masarap na mag 220 ka, makita mo, pero kailangan kaya ng dibdib mo and kaya ng kamay mo, no? Parang in short of skills and your attitude on this, no? Masarap mag-ride if you will do it the right way. Ang lagi kong sinasabi, safety matters, no? Kasi being a rider, vulnerable ka. So for me, if you will ask me ang tunay na rider, the one who is one with his bike, who enjoys the ride, no? But in doing so, he still adheres to the basic foundation of safety. So we cannot parang detach one from the other, di ba? So yun sa akin ang pagiging tunay na rider.
So, noon nag-umpisa tayo lahat, hindi pa tayo tunay na rider. Because ang dami natin ginawa
totoo.
na... And
Totoo.
honestly, we all needed to learn, right? Jolly, once you started learning from Coach Mel, you learn na kulang pa yung kaalaman mo, right? Dati, I'll admit, when I started riding, because practicality, nagbabanggeta ako. But now, the older I get, I realize how wrong that is, di ba? And you notice more and more, lalo na ngayon, bihira na mo nakikita yun eh. Dati majority nagbabangketa. Ngayon, mga ilan-ilan lang yung pasaway eh. And then, napapansin ko dati, yung mga parang racetrack eh, sa stoplight. Di ba? Unahan sa line, lumalampas pa sa linya. Ngayon, ngayon sumusunod lahat. And I think a large part of that is also because the training that the TNVS guys go through, yung mga angkas, yung mga grab, they're the vaccine. Sila yung herd immunity.
They set the precedent.
They naghahawaan yung right way of doing things.
Well, that's true.
Gusto ko rin yung sabi ni Sir Bong, yung nga, besides na you enjoyed the ride, yung dapat may respect ka sa kapwa mong motorista, public roads na naman. At saka syempre, nirespeto mo rin dapat yung motorsiklo mo.
At saka yun nga, no? We really need to promote yung courtesy again, ano? Just like I think we talked about this a few last night, yung ano, no, in the US, na pag nakasalubong ka, o kaya may lalagpas sa'yo, no? Talagang they give you the courtesy of yung saying, parang waving at you, no? It is nice to see that na sana na makita rin natin dito yan na we respect. It doesn't matter what kind of bike you have. Big bike, super bike, small bike, scooter, it doesn't matter. We ride. We pareho lang naman two wheels yan eh, di ba? So, we ride the same way and we enjoy it. So, kaya yung courtesy na yun, talagang, it means a lot, ano? It means a lot. Lalo na pag nandun ka, kahit they do not look at you kung Pilipino ka or anything like that, as long as you ride, parang pare-pareho tayo dito. We're doing the same thing and we're enjoying the same ride. No? So, sana, hirap kasi dito, dami na motor eh. No, but in long rides, I think we could do that.
Agree.
Yeah.
Boss Iñaki, ano yung definition ng tunay na rider para sa'yo?
Well, for me, tunay na rider, I always say this on my posts and on my articles. 1, ride safe. 2, ride smart. 3, ride aware.
Yun.
4, ride protected. Diba?
Correct.
And most importantly, you have to respect the machine no matter how small it is. You have to respect it. And I was saying na last night, sige, kaya mo yung ibang tao na there's a big difference between knowing how to operate a bike and knowing how to ride a bike.
Yun.
Sometimes the other operators, they say that, uy, kaya ko yan motor na yan. Sige, sabihin ko, at idle nga, pigilin mo ng kamay mo yung engine. Pag napigil mo yung kamay mo ng yung engine, naniniwala ako kaya mo. Pero pag hindi mo mapigil, respetuhin mo yung motor. Once you respect the motorcycle, automatic yan, respetuhin mo yung kasamahan mong rider din. Ganun tayo.
Correct.
Yeah.
And going to what you said, an operator, you know the technical, you know the bike, but a
Yes.
rider
Yes.
has experience and is educated.
Yes, and
Diba?
and the learning never stops. I agree with you.
Correct.
Because the riding, well, not the riding, but riding itself, that includes the motorcycle and that includes the techniques. It has its own life. It constantly evolves. Motorcycle gets more powerful. Riders discover new skills. So it's a constant learning process. But the tunay na rider has the responsibility to share that information to other riders. Has the
Yon.
responsibility to share your mistakes. Sumemplang ka, i-post mo at sabihin mo kung anong maling ginawa mo para maiwasan ang iba. Mahahawa-hawa lahat yan. So that's what we have to do. We have to promote, we have to follow the law. Even though it's inconvenient or harsh, it's the law that instills discipline in us. We have discipline in ourselves. Kahit saan tayo pumunta, disiplinado tayo. Lalo na sa kalye. Di ba? So yan ang
And
tunay
that-
na rider.
And that is why Sir Bong and Iñaki, you guys are our tunay na riders of the week for our Araw ng Kagitingan episode, because you are tunay na moto heroes. You practice what you preach. You're really doing a public service when it comes to riders. No? Before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to chat about, Sir Bong?
Well, guys, see you on the road, So,
And off-road,
and
Sir Bong, seryoso si
Off-road.
Coach Mel. And off-road, Gawin natin yun.
Yeah, I know, Coach Mel. I know. I think I was featured already in one of their newspapers, I think, or magazine ba yun? But anyway, well, to all the riders, So let's be safe on the road. See you on the road, and let's all be safe. And you do not treat me as somebody else. Kakampi niyo po ako, pero
Yun.
kakampi niyo ako in a way na gagawin po natin yung tama, At yung nasa legal. Pareho po tayo ng puso, hindi po tayo if you just know what's my heart or sa traffic management. Hindi po ako nagsasabi na namimigay ako ng helmet, marami nagko-question yan. Ba dapat ninuli mo, Sinasabi ko nga sa inyo, ang batas walang puso yan, pero ang enforcers meron. And I see the plight of other riders na talaga po walang pambili ng helmet yung iba mag-aangkas ng nanay nila na walang extra helmet, kung anong helmet nilang papagamit dahil pupunta ng hospital or whatnot. So, pagpasensyaan nyo na po ako, pero ang enforcer po may puso rin yan. So, hindi nyo po ako kaaway, kakampi nyo po ako, pero nasa tama lang po tayong na.
Yun.
Mhm.
And then, speaking of helmets, Iñaki, parang nagtayo ka yata ng tindahan dyan,
Dami.
Baka pwede mag-order.
Ako na yung the helmet for me. Speaking of, the helmet is the most important part of the gear because it protects the weakest and most important part of our head, of our body. You don't have to buy a helmet that's super expensive. You just have to buy something that is rated. Huwag naman yung substandard, but for example, I love this helmet. It's a
Nice.
TP course, KYT TP course. And I've been getting slack out of this helmet because people are saying, it's cheap, why are you wearing it? You were wearing Shoei before, you were wearing Araw, you were wearing AGV. Gusto ko kasi komportable.
Magaan,
Magaan. At saka,
Carbon fiber ba yan?
hindi. It's
Hindi.
the new thermoplastic.
Wow.
But what I like about this one is the view.
Malaki.
Nawala yung stress sa leeg ko. Kaya yan yung ginagamit ko ngayon halos araw-araw. Nakita mo naman, di ba? Iba.
Yep.
So, yun. And then, sa akin is,
Sana magkaroon na ako ng ganyan.
Sana
Ako
all.
din.
sabihan natin si Peter. Tama, sabihan natin si Peter.
Sana all.
Sana all.
Hindi ka magsisisi. Ang sarap. Tsaka dapat,
Promise.
you know, respetuhin natin isa't isa. Ako, I make it a point that when I stop in a stoplight, no, sa harap, kino-comedy ko yung mga katabi kong rider. Para kahit naka-big bike ako, chinat-chat ko, hindi mo wala yung stigma na, di ba? Meron talagang stigma, lalo na pag naka-gear ka at naka-magandang bike ka or naka-big bike ka. Parang ihabang ng dating mo. Ganon yung stigma eh. Ganon talaga eh. Porket naka-big bike, hahamunin ka doon, di ba? Hamunin ka. Minsan tatabi ako, bobombahan na ako. Ang gagawin ko, tira mauna. So, yung ginagawa ko, pag stoplight, grab, kamusta negosyo, gano'n. Pareho tayo, ang ginaganon ko yung humor ko. And then that evolved into something that, pag may makita akong post sa Facebook na, porket grab rider lang kami, o delivery boy lang kami, ginaganyan kami. So, sasabihin ko sa kanila na, huwag niyong matahin yung sarili niyo. Kasi kung wala kayo, paano kami? Yung ginagawa niyong serbisyo sa tao, hindi lang yan. Hindi lang easy yan. Nakaasa kami sa inyo, lalo na ngayon. Kaya huwag niyong ismulin yung sarili niyo. Tatawa na yan. Hanggang na I made it a point na personal, parang advocacy ko, I have to make someone smile or feel good about himself or herself every day. Kahit isang tao lang.
Mahirap yan kasi kami naka-lockdown, ikaw naka-vaccine ka na eh. But I'm pretty sure I do that with my wife every day. Make her smile at least once. And make her think about not killing me at least once.
Hindi naman ako humihinto eh. Dire-diretso lang ako.
On that note, thank you so much. We've gone over time, but I mean, this is a special episode. I've been really looking forward for this for the longest time. And Iñaki knows how long I've been bugging him to be on the show. Yeah. And as a way of saying thank you, we've got some cool stuff from our friends. This is my company. So they're also sponsoring our show, OtterBox. So we'll be sending you nice OtterBox case, mil-spec, rated,
great,
as
Thank
well
you.
as an OtterBox charger, fast charging. And from our friends at Motul, we're sending you a complete Motul set. I love these.
Alright!
Diba? And perfect pang double masking. You've got
Polarized shades.
Polarized. I love these. These are so cool. I can't believe we're giving them away.
Helmet. Okay sa helmet.
Swap.
No.
Swap
good,
shot.
Manipis yung parang paa niya.
That will be good for my best helmet.
And Jolly, take us out, man. Oh, next week?
Ayos! Uy, next week, iba. Madami tayong guest.
Yeah,
meron
we've
tayong
got...
the Orbe family. So, si Bobby Orbe ng Wiltec, Jacob Orbe from BMW, at saka si Patrick Orbe from KTM.
So,
nice.
I love that family. There's no one who has impacted the motorcycle scene more behind the scenes than the Orbe clan. I mean, these guys are hardcore riders. They're passionate about riding.
Takes care of me when I'm in a BMW. Takes care of me.
So we've got
Bobby
KTM represented.
Good sons.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You did.
And they're all with different brands, and they all have a different perspective. So that's going to be a fun show. Yeah.
Baka mag-away-away sila iba dahil sa atin.
Sana. Baka pwede tayo mag-tulfo. on that episode. And yeah, so Jolly, who do we have to thank for this episode?
Oy, oo, madami tayong mga sponsors that made Tunay na Rider happen. So salamat sa Otterbox. Ay, kay Alvin D sa Touratech. At saka Under Armour, Motolason Club, Podcast Network Asia, Podmetrics, Pop Socket, at saka Mr. Speedy sa pagsusponsor ng Tunay na Rider.
All right. See you guys next week. Please stay safe, everyone, and ride safe.